Jinger Duggar, who's pregnant with her third child, appreciates her roots. But she and husband Jeremy Volo are loving life on their own terms on the other side of the country. Jinger Duggar isn't the only one of the 19 Duggar siblings who decided she needed to put some distance between herself and the family homestead in Arkansas to do life on her own terms. But she has inserted exponentially more distance than anyone else. After kicking off married life in Laredo, Texas, the 30-year-old and her husband of almost 8 years, Jeremy Volo, are West Coasters these days, having moved to Los Angeles in 2019. And while relocating to one of the biggest of cities was a trip into the unknown at first. Leaving Laredo this July will be one of the hardest things we've ever done, they posted at the time. The couple have planted firm roots in California. I love living in Los Angeles, Jinger told E! News in January 2023. It's been amazing. We have an awesome community around us, really good, solid friends that we love to hang out with. In fact, their crew came through over the summer when they moved into a bigger home in July. The couple in need of more running around room for daughters Felicity, 6, and Evangeline, 3, and their little sibling who's on the way. And hopefully there's plenty of storage space for mom. I love decluttering during moves, but wish I had decluttered before moving this time, she reflected in July, recording the first new episode of the Jinger and Jeremy podcast in 3 years. Her spouse, who said that having help from their friends at least made the process more fun, agreed that moving could be overwhelming due to the sense of unsettledness and living out of boxes. But a little nomadism. They've moved multiple times in the last 5 years, Jinger noted, and the latest house is their third Bay Area address, is preferable to the Cue the Sun orchestration that she experienced growing up on TV. Acknowledging that her sheltered childhood and adolescence meant she didn't see many popular movies as a kid. Watching The Truman Show for the first time on her honeymoon in 2016 was a real eye-opener for Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar's 6th-born child. I looked at Jeremy and I was like, wow, that feels like my life in many ways, Jinger told E! News in 2023 as she was releasing her memoir, Becoming Free Indeed. Not every detail, the spouse-picking part was not right, but other than that, I felt like, man, that's so crazy how it's so similar. Her older sister Jill Dillard, 33, who married Derek Dillard in 2014, was the first of the siblings to blow the whistle on just how out of the kids' hands their participation on the long-running TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting and its spin-off Counting On really was. Jinger, meanwhile, detailed in her memoir how insulated their upbringing was as followers of the Institute in Basic Life Principles. The strict fundamentalist teachings their parents adhered to that regulated everything from what the kids were taught in homeschool to what the female members of the family wore. On the show, I was so outgoing, I had so much personality, Jinger recalled on her podcast in September. I wasn't living in a character cause that's legit who I was. But she eventually started to question everything. Coming out of that and then growing into an adult as you're filming, she said, I think there was a time I just switched to, like, am I an extrovert? Am I more introverted? Because I think I just became more guarded and a different personality. There to figure it all out with her was Jeremy, a Pennsylvania-raised soccer player turned pastor whom she met while doing ministry work in Laredo. The son of a Reformed Baptist pastor, as Jinger described his upbringing in her book, Jeremy's religion initially made him a questionable pick for a life partner in her parents' eyes. It was only after 5 months of almost weekly conversations with Jim Bob, Jinger wrote, that Jeremy was given the go-ahead to start courting Jinger in May 2016. She didn't need that long to say yes to a trip to the altar 3 months later. Then 3 months after that, the pair tied the knot November 5, 2016, and Jinger joined Jeremy in Laredo, where she continued the process of extricating herself from IBLP Jeremy, has been so kind throughout this entire process of my disentangling journey, she told E! He's been so patient with me because I know it must be so hard for him to see these wrestlings, and there are long days where it's just emotionally taxing and hard. He has only been there to support me, to cheer me on. And along the way, amid date nights, becoming a mom, writing books, packing and unpacking, hunting for deals at Trader Joe's, the occasional movie premiere, and other staples of SoCal living, Jinger got more in touch with who she really was with the cameras off. I was always concerned about being so agreeable with Jeremy and not having my own opinion, she said. I wouldn't really think for myself. I would just think, what's the right answer? Or what do I think I should say to him right now? Like, if he lost a game of darts, I would tell him, great job. And he'd say, I was terrible, but you can tell me that, it's oak. While she at first thought she had to be this agreeable wife in order to keep it all together, Jinger explained to E! Jeremy encouraged me to not be somebody I'm not, but just to be myself and feel comfortable and share my own opinions, and have opinions on life. More of that journey informs her next book, People Pleaser, which is due out in January 2025. But in the meantime, the Volos have a third child to prepare for and 2 young ladies to raise. Felicity, who was born in 2018, did make appearances on Counting On before its official cancellation in 2021. But Jinger and Jeremy ultimately decided that was enough reality TV for their brood until they were old enough to say yeah or nay themselves. We really felt strongly about giving them privacy and allowing them to choose if they wanted to be in the public eye or now, she told E! For now, we're just protecting their privacy until they can choose what they want to do. What sort of learning environment the kids are taught in is up to them, however, and Jinger acknowledged to E! That she wasn't sure yet what type of schooling, home or away, public or private, et al., was in the cards for Felicity. But in the meantime, she was grateful that LA offered so many awesome school options to choose from. Options being the operative word, something Jinger didn't feel she had too many of growing up. And though her rejection of IBLP consequently led to some fraying of ties with certain family members, Jinger is still part of the fold, most recently returning to Arkansas to celebrate sister Jinger Duggar and Stephen Wisman's August nuptials. We celebrated the happy couple, enjoyed lots of sweet time with family and friends, and ate lots of delicious food, Jinger posted on Instagram. Until next time, and when her mom and several of her younger sisters came to LA recently for a visit, that was naturally the ideal time to tell them that the family tree was growing another limb. Throughout the day, I was thinking, it's time to tell them, before they all get in the hot tub at night, she said in an October 18 video recounting how she delivered the news, complete with a clip of the big reveal. I waited and waited and waited. She ended up waiting until they were in the hot tub, and Jinger wondered aloud whether it was safe for her to join them, saying, I don't think I'm supposed to get in if I have a baby in my tummy. Cue the excitement. And before the latest member of the Duggar Vulo family arrives, here's a comprehensive guide to Jinger's entire family.